Ilara lived in a small, quiet village. Life there was often very hard. Every day felt like carrying a heavy stone, a burden that never seemed to lighten. She carried her worries like a sack on her back, each one adding to the immense weight. The path ahead of her always seemed dark and filled with menacing shadows. She often felt lost, a solitary traveler on an endless, winding road. The wind itself seemed to whisper sad, mournful songs just for her. Her heart ached with burdens that no one else could see, a silent sorrow. She wondered, with a deep sigh, if the sun would ever truly shine for her again. Her family struggled constantly. Food was sometimes scarce, a worrying thought that never left their minds. The old roof of their small, humble hut leaked whenever the rain fell, bringing cold and dampness inside. Dreams, for Ilara, seemed like distant, unreachable stars, beautiful but too far away to touch. She would often see other people laugh, their joy a stark contrast to her own rare smiles. Each day presented a new test of her spirit, a new challenge to her endurance. She tried her very best to be brave, to face the world with courage, but it was incredibly difficult. The weight of the entire world seemed to press down on her small shoulders, making it hard to even breathe sometimes. She often looked towards the tall, imposing mountains that bordered her village. They seemed impossible to climb, just like the many problems she faced in her own life. In their shadow she felt incredibly small and undeniably weak. Hope, that precious feeling, was like a single flickering candle, easily extinguished by the harsh winds of despair that blew constantly. She cried silent tears when no one was watching, letting her sorrow flow in the solitude of her heart. She wondered if her journey, her life, had any real meaning or purpose. Was she simply meant to suffer forever, endlessly? The night always seemed endless, and the promise of dawn felt so very far away. One difficult day, the burden she carried felt too immense, too unbearable to continue. She wanted to give up, to simply stop trying so hard. She longed to let the encroaching darkness swallow her whole, to find some peace in oblivion. The path before her was too steep and treacherous. The stones underfoot were too sharp, hurting her tired feet. Her spirit was weary, worn down by the constant struggle. She sat by a dried-up river, feeling as empty and desolate as its barren bed. It truly felt like the end of her road, a desolate place where all hope finally died and faded away into nothingness. But even in the deepest, darkest night, a tiny solitary star can shine with surprising brightness. Ilara looked at her own reflection in a small puddle of rainwater. She saw tired eyes looking back at her, eyes that had seen too much sorrow. But beneath the weariness, she also saw a spark, a tiny, almost invisible flicker of something resilient. It was a gentle whisper from the depths of her heart. It softly told her not to give up, not yet. It reminded her that even the longest, most desolate night eventually ends, making way for a brand new day. The silence around her was not empty, it held ancient, profound wisdom. She learned that falling is an inevitable part of life's journey. The truly important thing, she realized, is to find the strength to stand up again, each and every time. She thought of a tree that bends low in a fierce storm but somehow does not break, its roots holding firm. She began to understand that her pain was a teacher, a stern but valuable guide. It was teaching her how to be truly strong. It was showing her the incredible power that resided within her own soul. Every tear she shed watered the hidden seed of her future strength. This hardship was not a punishment, she saw, but a difficult lesson in disguise, a necessary trial. She started to see and truly appreciate the beauty in very small things, the gentle warmth of the early morning sun on her skin, the unexpected kindness of a stranger passing by, a single, vibrant wildflower growing bravely by the dusty roadside. These small, simple joys became her anchors in the turbulent sea of her life. They gently reminded her that life, despite everything, still held goodness and light. Her heart slowly began to learn the forgotten language of gratitude. She understood that even a single drop of water can start a mighty river, and a single ray of pure light can chase away even the deepest, most frightening shadows. She learned to listen carefully to her inner voice, the quiet guide within. It was the voice that told her she was much more than her struggles, more than her pain. It was a very quiet voice, often hard to hear amidst the noise of the world, but it always spoke the truth. It spoke of courage, resilience, and unwavering hope. It guided her hesitant steps one at a time along her difficult path. This inner voice became her most trusted compass. It helped her find her way through the confusing, winding paths of her challenging life. She realized that the greatest, most valuable treasures are not found outside but are hidden deep within. Alara made a firm decision to walk forward, to continue her journey, not with big, confident leaps but with small, steady and deliberate steps. Each tiny step was a conscious choice she made. It was a choice to believe in herself even just a little. It was a choice to continue despite the uncertainty. She knew the path ahead was still hard and unforgiving, but now, she did not feel quite so alone on her journey. Her newly found inner voice was her constant companion, her faithful guide. She started to mend the leaks in her old roof, one small careful patch at a time. She planted a tiny garden, hoping for a future harvest to sustain her. There were many days when she stumbled and fell. Days when the old, familiar sadness returned to haunt her. But she remembered the important lessons she had learned. She remembered the tiny spark she had seen within herself. She would allow herself to rest for a while, then she would stand up again, determined. She practiced being patient and kind with herself, understanding her own limits. She learned that persistence was like a slow, patient river. It slowly, but surely, carves its way through even the hardest, most unyielding rock. Her hands became calloused from her work, but her spirit became smoother, more resilient than ever before. With each new challenge she faced and eventually overcame, she felt herself growing stronger from within. The heavy stone she had carried on her back for so long felt a little bit lighter each day. The shadows that once filled her world did not seem so dark or frightening anymore. She was like a skilled blacksmith, patiently forging strong steel. The intense fire of her many hardships was making her spirit truly unbreakable, tempered, and refined. Her eyes, once dull with sorrow, started to shine with a quiet, steady confidence. She was no longer just surviving the days, she was learning to live her life with a newfound purpose and meaning. The path ahead of her was still long and winding, but now, it did not look quite as impossible as it once did. She could see a faint, gentle light in the far distance. It was the soft, inviting light of her own untapped potential, her own future. She started to dream again, to imagine possibilities, not of distant, unreachable stars this time, but of a future she could build with her own two hands. Her heart, which was once so heavy with unspoken grief, now felt lighter, filled with a quiet, unshakable determination, and a budding hope that was growing stronger with each passing day, nurturing her soul. Years passed, filled with both effort and quiet growth. Alara did not climb a tall, majestic mountain to prove her strength. She did something far more extraordinary, far more meaningful. She became a beacon of unwavering hope in her small, once-forgotten village. She began to teach others the valuable lessons she herself had learned through her pain. She showed them how to find their own inner strength, their own guiding light. She helped them mend their own leaking roofs and plant their own small gardens of hope. Her simple, heartfelt wisdom, born directly from her own deep pain, became a healing balm for many souls. Her past struggles were the very source of her unique power to help others. Because she had known the depths of despair, she could truly understand the hidden pain of others in her village. Because she had found her own difficult way out of the suffocating darkness, she could gently guide them along their own paths. Her scars, visible and invisible, were not signs of weakness or failure. They were maps of her incredible journey. They clearly showed others that it was indeed possible to heal, to grow, and to find peace. Her past struggles became the fertile ground from which her great compassion and understanding bloomed for all to see. Her village slowly began to change, to transform. People started to help each other more, sharing what little they had. They found simple joy in the small, everyday things they had once overlooked. They learned to listen to their own quiet inner voices, trusting their intuition. The sound of laughter, which was once so rare and precious, now echoed freely through the narrow village streets. Alara did not become rich or famous in the way the world often measures such things, but she became incredibly rich in spirit. She found her true, lasting treasure in helping other people find theirs. This was her extraordinary, beautiful destiny. Challenges, you see, are not meant to be roadblocks on our journey. They are in truth stepping stones. They carefully prepare us for a greater, more meaningful future. They shape us, mold us, and make us strong in ways we cannot imagine. They teach us what truly matters in this life. Like Alara, everyone carries their own burdens. Everyone faces their own personal storms, but within every single hardship lies a precious lesson waiting to be discovered. And within every person lies the immense strength to overcome, to rise above. Your own unique journey awaits you, and your challenges are preparing you for something truly extraordinary. Embrace them with courage.